What's going on, everyone? Like Sports back with another video, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Toronto Raptors and what they should do at the trade deadline that is upcoming very soon. There's a trade deadline, of course, February 9th. It's in about 9 days, 10 days. It's on next Thursday, and of course, that's approaching very soon as the Raptors had a tough loss tonight to the Phoenix Suns, and tonight felt like every other game this season that the Raptors have lost. It's just tough games that we're in right to the end, and we just can't, make an extra play than our opponents, and that leads to a loss. It's been the story all year. The Raptors tonight, they dropped to 23-29. That is 6 games out, back of 500. And you look at the standings, and it's pretty tight. The Raptors are just a game and a half back from the play-in, and they're 4 games from 7. So right there, right? It's not as bad as people make it seem. Teams that are kind of in the play-in right now are bound to fall off, I feel. Washington was on a 6-game win streak against really soft opponents in a soft schedule. Their schedule is going to slowly start to pick up, and the Raptors play them 3 times this year, so 3 more times this year, so, you win those games, they fall off, you go in, so I think it's going to be an interesting, deadline, and what should the Raptors do? And I think it's interesting because a lot of reports have come out, especially from CJ McCollum, from Chris Haynes, a bunch of guys saying, the Raptors are unhappy. And McCollum said he knows that multiple Raptors are unhappy and that there will be trades for the Raptors. Haynes said Anunoby in specific is unhappy. Now we don't know if any of this is true. Anunoby denied that today in his press conference, but at the end of the day, what's he going to tell you? If they say, hey, OG, there's reports and rumors that say you're unhappy in Toronto. What's he gonna say? Yeah, I'm unhappy here. There's a certain extent of unhappy, right? Are you unhappy with where you're playing or the situation you're in, or just given the fact that the Raptors are, not doing what they were supposed to do, and they're underplaying to their standards, and they're not, they're underwhelming, So obviously, if you're a player on the Raptors and you were supposed to have high expectations and you play under those expectations, you're not going to be happy. Now, these reporters that are saying our players are unhappy, does that mean, is that the unhappy that they're feeling, or are they really feeling unhappy, to the point where they don't want to be in Toronto anymore, and they're looking for a new home? That's completely different, and we're gonna obviously find that out very soon, I think. And I said before this road trip that this road trip was gonna have a lot to do, with our future, and it's been all right. We're 2-2 on the road trip. We lost a tough game to Golden State and a tough game here to Phoenix, and some close ones, but we beat the Kings and the Blazers by 18 each, so it's obviously there's been 2 promising wins and, a couple losses, that could kind of could have went either way. Now the schedule starts to slowly kind of ease up. You take a look at the next 7 or 8 opponents or so, you're playing one team really that scares you, looking at those games upcoming at the Jazz, at the Rockets, 2 very winnable games. Then at the Grizzlies, it gets tough. That's a tough game. But then you host the Spurs, host the Jazz, host the Pistons, host the Magic, leading up to the All-Star break. So these are some games that, if you kind of hit a run, you could slowly creep up to 500, into the All-Star break with momentum, and make a push. Now, is this the approach that the Raptors want to take from up top? That's what I don't know, right? Are we going to trade a guy like Trent? Or are we going to trade a guy like Van Vliet or OG? We know that the value for these guys is, all high, but, maybe we stand pat. Maybe we just don't do anything, which I think, in my opinion, would be the right move. Or maybe we add a guy like a Jakob Poeltl, who we've been linked to. or maybe it's some sort of Trent for Pirtle trade. Who knows? But there's a lot of options on the table right now for the Raptors, and I think that's kind of good at the deadline when you have all the options open, and no matter what path you take, you could kind of control it from there. But in my opinion, I think the Raptors should stay put. If anything, maybe add a guy. I wouldn't start selling it, and have a fire sale. I mean, I don't think we're at that point. I think we can, if we can get our confidence back and string together some wins here against a soft schedule, we can, make a push. We can get into the play-in or the playoffs, and at that point, from there, who knows what happens. We're too far ahead to tank for Wembanyama. A lot of people still want to do that. That's not happening. We're not getting the first overall pick. I doubt we even get a top 4 pick. It's possible, but it's very unlikely. So I don't think the Raptors should sell. I think they should either, conservatively buy or just stay as is. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I think, whatever they do, I'm going to support, and I'm going to think it's the right move for this team. But I think this is a team that could turn it up at any point. And I think, with guys like Trent and OG2 and VanVleet, I think you got to try and kind of keep them, and the ones on expiring contracts, try and do what you can to re-sign them at affordable prices. And if it's not trending in that direction, you have a quick conversation. And if the interest isn't there, then maybe you explore a trade. But you got to get proper value. You can't undersell these guys. You can't. You kind of got to have your walkaway price, right? If you're willing to sell them, you got to say, if I can't get this, I'm not going to give them up. And I think Masai's done that, and he's shown that in the past with Lowry. At the deadline, he said, if I'm not going to get offered this, I'm not going to trade Kyle Lowry, the greatest player in the history of my franchise. So, and with players respected as much as Trent and VanVleet, I don't think that the Raptors do that. I don't think Masai does that. I think he's such a smart guy. He knows exactly what to do and what's best for his basketball team, and I think that's what he's going to do. Ultimately, I think the Raptors kind of play it out, see how they do in the next 4 games leading up to the trade deadline. If they go 3-1, maybe they make a small adjustment and just kind of keep the ship rolling. But if they go 0-4 or 1-3, then there's definitely some area for concern. And at that point, then maybe you explore a trade. But we'll see what ultimately happens. It's going to be interesting. I'm rooting for the Raptors to win every single night, and I'm rooting for them to kind of keep the squad together, keep the band together, and not just for this year, but for years to come. But if they do decide to trade them, I hope that they could get good value, and if they make a trade, a buyer's trade, I hope it's not for a lot. But guys, that's really all I got in this video. I just what the Raptors should do at the deadline. I think they should either stay pat or stand pat or just make be conservative buyers. But what I think they'll do, I'm not sure. I think it kind of depends what goes on the next 4 games or so. And I'm going to support whatever the Raptors do because I think that'll be the best move in the interest of this basketball team, and I'm excited to see what ultimately ends up happening. But guys, that's all I got in this video. You guys let me know down in the comment section your thoughts. What would you do at the deadline? Let me know what you think they'll do. What are the long-term plans? Let me know the good stuff down in the comment section. As always, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. See you guys on the next video, and as always, let's go Raptors.